3, 2, 1, you're in the room. I'm Dan Watson.
I'm Paul Sloggs. Welcome to the dirt. You're such a fucking bellend, man.
I love it.
You catch me every fucking time.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your viewing and audio pleasure, today's guest is an absolute gem, in my opinion. I don't know how you can really describe the enigma that is Matt Gaydon, but he is just that. He's been involved in the UK scene since day dot, pretty much, in this country. He's called us up on a few misplaced timings.
Tonight we're getting facts.
Yeah, we're getting.
It might be the first episode ever where Matt Brind's not going to message in going, "Oh, I think you'll find that's 2007." This one's going to be factual as fuck.
Let's get it on. He's admitting into the room now, and we wait. Tick follows, tock follows. Here he is, Matt Gaydon in the
Hello.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good, thank you. We've got good weather.
Good
snow.
Good weather
here.
being shitloads of snow.
This season, not so much. We've had like maybe in the garden, don't know, 30 foot of snow in the last 48 hours.
That's all right. What height are you sitting at the moment?
I live at 6,000, I think 6,580, something like that.
Feet?
No, 600.
I was going to say 6,000.
We're going to deal in facts here, Matt. We've promised the people facts. No lies tonight.
I think 680. The Innsbruck town centre is 550.
Right.
And we're just up on the hill or on the mountain behind Innsbruck.
And what is your local snow resort at the moment, Matt?
Norrkötter, behind the house, which has, what's that, like 10 minutes on the bus, and then you can either you go up with the gondola, or you can split board up there or ski tour up the pass. But that takes you about, I think, an hour, I don't know, about 2 hours, I'd say, to get up there if you're going to hike or ski tour up there.
Yeah. But is that where that's not where we're seeing some of your clips from recently, though, is it?
The picture is from Zillertal, from Hochzillertal, Hochfugen area. The picture's from Seffelt, which is just along the same ridgeline as Norrkötter, just around the corner. I don't know what other ones I've posted up lately. Norrkötter is also where all the mountain bike trails are. We've got trails up on Norrkötter, Hungerberg, and Artslerraum.
Oh, awesome! So, are you getting a chance to ride those in summertime then?
Yeah, I've learnt to ride those.
Learned to ride those.
Well, I found the Durm in stages, the same as you used to do when we did the mountainboarding competitions, where it was a kind of like, okay, I'll learn this bit, and then I'll do laps of this little bit until I understand it, and then the next bit, and then I kind of like, and now I've done New Year's Day, we didn't have any snow, so I did Artslerraum trail top to bottom. I think I only had to portage, like I only had to walk with my board a couple of flat sections, but everything else, there's even sections where one wheel is going along the edge of the logs that they've put in to make the edge of the trail. Right. It's that thin.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they don't tend to sculpt too much. In my experience, when you've got the mountain, I mean, why would you? That's why people go there, isn't it? For that style of free ride, you wouldn't. I mean, I suppose some of the American ski and snow resorts aside, where they've got so much tied into it, but yeah. No,
this is on the board. This is on dirt.
Yes. But that's what I'm saying. In Europe, okay, Morzine of Voriaz has a good summertime scene for biking, doesn't it? But they're not taken. They're not groomed in the same way that
we have
you would get
two
a normal
different things here.
Bike park.
We have the bike parks, Mutters, Solden, the one from the video, which is Servus Landus Fis, which are proper groomed built trails.
Yeah, I know the ones you're talking about.
We then have Hungerberg, and which I can send you a picture of or some video of, or Utsran Trail, which are the same width as your wheels. Like they've literally natural trail dug in, the roots are still there, the rocks are still there. They've dug berms in, a bit like what we used to have in the UK with places like Long Ashton with LA and places like that, where there was a track built by the bikers, but it was only like the limits of what you needed to hold on and get down the mountain.
Oh, I'm so jealous, and I'm so happy for you as well, you know, like, because I mean, we're cutting ahead. We haven't even got to the origin story yet. We should probably have done all this first. But yeah, I'm so happy that you're out there living the dream, because having done a similar sort of thing myself, I know how rich the pickings are, shall we say.
I think I still feel like I've got a lot to learn though. I'm becoming the free ride. I'm becoming towards the free rider I want to be. Yeah. But there's still so much to learn.
Oh, you never.
And still there. So much terrain. Much terrain that I'm just like, I want to work out how to get out of here. I do not like being above this cliff or whatever.
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's the joy, isn't it? And I hope that desire to get better and become the more accomplished free rider that you want to be never leaves you, because that's the key to any progression, isn't it?
For sure.
And whether you're young or old, it makes no difference, in my opinion. The aim is always to progress, isn't it? Look, let's come. Like I say, we've skipped ahead completely here. Just even talking, we only started asking what the weather was, and now we're already talking summer trails. Let's give some of the people a bit of what they want, Matt. And that is, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us a little bit of your origin story as to how you come to find mountain boarding, the first experience of it, the scene when you were young, and how you've grown and become what many people see. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass here, Matt, but a bit of a legend in the UK scene. You know, you've got long-term service awards. Did you get a carriage clock for that these days, or
no? I got for the dedication to competitive mountainboarding, I think was the award. I got the Volts when Volts made the hubs for the scooters. The solid CNC aluminium hubs, and that's what I run on the brake board now. So I run directly onto the hub with the brake. I don't have a metal disc at all. I'm just running direct to the hubs.
Interesting. Well, hopefully you've got your board there, and later on you can give us a bit of a
not yet.
It's so easy to skip around, isn't it? Because obviously we both know you from old, and although we've had many times sat around the campfires or partying or whatever over the years, it's not often that you get these sort of moments where we can actually get to know you a little bit better than what we've come to experience of our short times at competitions or little meets and stuff like that. So go ahead, take the mic away from us a little bit.
I guess I'm one of the, I guess I'm one of the OG riders, considering this would be season 22. So I started in 2000 with the what did I have? We had Live and Kicking was did a thing with mountainboarding with Joe Inglis from Vets in Practice.
On Saturday morning TV.
Did a little thing on Live and Kicking. So on Saturday mornings, and my parents showed me that because I had a skateboard, but I was never that good at skateboard because I always took my back foot off. I was never really into it that much, but I'd tried the surfing, tried the skateboarding over the year. Oh, what's this sport? Okay, let's have a look at this.
Oh, are you still there, Matt?
Could we have?
Oh no, this is potentially our
first. Internet connection is unstable.
Yeah. Hello. You came back.
The downside of being in the mountains.
Yeah, I was going to say, oh no, Yeah, the look of fear came to both our eyes then.
Abort.
Yeah, stood still good.
Yeah, so live and kicking Saturday morning TV with Joe
Then
Inglis.
what else do we have? Live and kicking Saturday morning, seeing it on screen, and then the back of Cyborg Surfer skate magazine used to have the little black and white adverts. I don't know if you remember those, where like almost like the classified section.
Yeah.
And in there was a Max Track advert for mountain boards. So then I go and I contacted them. I think I might have had to phone them up or write to them to ask for
a stamped addressed envelope.
And that's where I saw stamped addressed envelope, something like that. Then you get then I got the catalogue with the that had the would have been the grasshopper, the blade, and the cricket. That was one option. And it was either that or the local surf shop in Bristol had the no snow, but without bindings.
Right.
And because I couldn't afford, I could save up and afford to buy the blade. I wanted a free ride board, and I'm going and all out. I'm going for the, what was it called? Like that was an MBS blade. So I bought that. So I became an MBS rider instead of buying a no snow and becoming a no snow rider. Otherwise, I'd have become a no snow rider when I started, but I couldn't afford it. So I saved up, and I was like, I think, yeah, it was crazy. I would have either bought,
eager to get out on a board, so you couldn't save up that long. Just have the next one up.
I was either going to save up. No, I think the board back then was a £350 board. So it was because there was.
Oh man!
Oh no!
Low end market. Exit didn't exist. No, I've got internet. Still, are you dying at your end?
No, I think me and Sloggs are all still here.
Yeah. Okay.
You there?
I'm trying to move it to have better internet.
Might work in your toilet.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Just carrying it around the house. Network bandwidth is low. I don't understand why. Because no one's at home, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
Maybe we've got another
close
storm.
to the router.
As close as I can get without being stood in the hallway.
Yeah.
Get in the fucking hallway.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
we had.
You
I
picked up-
had the choice of buying. I was either going to buy Technics 1210 decks to learn to DJ, or I was going to save up for like 2 months and buy a mountain board. And I saved up and bought a mountain board when I was like 18, and that was the start of mountain boarding. And then from there, I had Generation 1 blade deck, which I snapped. So they gave me because they put too much concave in the deck.
Right.
So then they sent me the Generation 2, and I then went to NAS that summer, and I met up with them. And because there were so few people in the sport, I went up and met them on the hill at the top and then I became an instructor the first year, teaching it, even though I'd been only doing it for a couple of months.
It's still in 2000, or
this is still 2000.
Yeah.
So within 2000,
and who was running the NAS
in
then?
May.
That
was running the Michelinis, Max Track. Max Track had the stuff on the hill. We just had a couple of small plastic kickers.
Yeah.
I'd made heel. It was back in the days before snowboard boots and bindings were being put on them. I hadn't done that yet, so I still had Velcro straps around the back of my ankles.
Yeah.
Post bindings of Velcro straps. I did that, got the t-shirt, and I worked for them the first year. Then we had the British Championships at Eastnor Castle.
Oh, lovely place.
With where in one day you did a slalom competition, a freestyle competition, a border cross competition, and a mass descent and prize giving.
Cram it all in there.
All of it in there. Red Bull had only just come on the scene, so I remember me and Laurie Barnes getting given, like, just continually going to Red Bull girls and getting given Red Bull because they sponsored it. I think I drank like 6 cans in one day. I was absolutely wired. No helmet. I had like cheap pads on, no helmet. I just had spiky hair. I didn't need a helmet. And you just got absolutely beaten up by it. But it was like, this is amazing. I like this. This is my sport.
Yeah. Oh, completely. But I think everybody gets that. If you're a mountain boarder, you definitely get that feeling, don't you? You go through the ringer a couple of times and think like it makes you or breaks you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And if it makes you, you're onto it. I suppose it's like a boxer getting smashed in the face and going, yeah, I'll have some of that. You know.
And then I think so that would have been, I think I want to say July, August time for the first comp. By that point, I'd already put flow snowboard bindings on my board, so I could, because that was the best at the time. They had the big surface on the top, so they were the best, like putting your standard hiking boots in.
Yeah,
I don't remember having snowboard boots. I think I was still on hiking boots and flow bindings.
So who were you riding with locally while this is happening? Like,
I think just myself. I don't think my brother
so
was.
not
My
hooked
brother
up with
didn't.
anyone yet?
No, I don't think my brother didn't. My brother started on it, but he didn't start for at least 1 or 2 years. Maybe a year after me, I think my brother might have started. I'd have to ask him. But yeah, it's just me riding the local grass down through the parks, down through the trees. We're riding through the trees from day one. Start on a little bit of tarmac to get your speed in, and then charge down through the Victorian Park. There was a park with a hill, a couple of parks with hills near where my parents lived. And I think even going up in the woods as well. I think I was riding woods from season 1. I've always been free riding.
So were you solo?
Yeah, I think that's kind of like I've always kind of like, if I want to go and do something, I just go and get on with
exactly.
it and just progress with it, and then kind of like. So I don't think I met the others, because like the Team Bad stuff wasn't until a couple of years later.
No, indeed, I don't think it was. But I'm just wondering who would have been your first crew as such. You know, because obviously you ride if you're met up with the Max Track guys and Jez Mitchell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Would AJ have been involved with them at that stage in the game?
I'm
assuming he
remember.
probably.
I don't remember. I think AJ. I remember. I think AJ might have been around maybe 2002. I remember AJ.
Yeah.
Because I remember having, by 2002 we had the Max Track tent. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. So that's 2000.
It's easy
then
to do.
2001 we had Foot and Mouth, so we didn't really have that many competitions that I could go to, or they were cancelled. But we did have NAS round 2. So then NAS the second year, I'm wearing the T-shirt that I got given the first year, and Andy Potter's built some jumps on the same top field above the showground. I'm jumping that, and I can't remember. I think it might have been Andy Potter on the mic saying, "This is Matt Gaydon riding for Max Track." This information gets down to Mitchell Innes, down to Ian Mitchell Innes, and I get a message saying, "Have you got the new team top?" No, okay. And that was me on the team from like the second year, because the sport was so small. It was whoever was trying whatever they could. So that, but if you were going for it, you got like you got onto teams.
Yeah. What was that? That was just Max Track team, or was that the
no? That was the blue MBS. So I started with the black top with T-shirt with a razor on. I think I lost it or got rid of or threw it out. I don't remember. But I wish I hadn't, because I used to have the one that dirt melts, snow doesn't. Yeah. The black razor one, and I don't know what happened to that. But then the year after, I was wearing that. Then I got the blue the blue hockey tops with MBS, with the newer MBS logo on, where we changed from the box to the classic MBS that we know now. Yeah,
to the italic style.
To the italic style, and that became my riding top until we changed in I want to say like 2005 or something, to the tight when the Americans then wanted the more kind of like fitted ones. Yeah. And us UK riders put them on, and we were like, okay, well, we wear body armor over here. And they were the tightest. tightest tops to wear. So that would be 2001, 2002. I was on the team, so that was the era of out to grass on the other field where Andy Potter made the super straight line track with the kicker at the bottom.
Right,
That you had
I've
to go
heard
round.
of, but I don't.
You have to go round in competition.
Right.
You'd ride down the what would be now the roll-in of the freestyle around the massive kicker at the bottom and over a little jump at the end, and that would be you finished. I remember that course.
We'll probably get some footage of that from somewhere.
Oh, good luck on that one.
That was the competition where everything was getting bigger and bigger. So I was running 10-inch tires, steel trucks, a 126 blade. The board weighed like 10 kilogram or so, stupidly heavy.
Yeah.
The guys from No Snow had started making the weird shaped trucks where they'd welded all the pipes together into weird angles because then they could put 12.5-inch skyways on so they could go even faster. So it was the era of how big a wheel can you put on.
Yeah. And
the idea of running
it.
and still make it without
what's the trade-off?
Straight line it down there.
So because that comp, I remember that comp so well because I've got Dave Tatham, I think, in front of me on his crazy snow setup, and me coming in on the step up. I come over the top and I crash and I land on my chest with the old plastic Fox body armor with the grills on the front of it.
Yeah,
I winged myself, and I don't know. I remember coming into that jump, and I remember kneeling on all fours at the bottom with water being poured over the back of my neck to try and get me out of shock. I've done the second half of the course somehow, and they're like, "Can you see just me? I need to put my glasses back on again." Where have I come? Have I come in? No, you didn't come in second. Ready to go back up for another run. 2002 was also the year of Wiscombe, where you went from gravel to dirt and back to gravel. So you like.
Oh, that's a nice transition at speed.
Oh, that was brutal. I think that was my original. That originally did my knee in, but people were getting knocked out, and because I could still somehow drag my leg behind me and ride, I would just keep. Oh, he's stopped riding now, so I'm through to the next round, and kept on going until. So I remember that one because I left that one in an ambulance. I left that one because I couldn't bend my knee anymore in an ambulance. And I get in the hospital, and the whole ward is mountainboarders. We've got who's on the? I've got a feeling it's Nicky Wainwright.
Yeah.
On a bed on the other side. I can't remember. There was about 3 or 4 of us in this ward, all mountainboarders. So we just like come in from this one track. Where when you came off the dirt and you hit the tarmac, you would just like grip, or you'd lose grip, and you just absolutely slammed into the ground.
Oh, horrendous.
That was the ATB mag. That was ATB mag's comp that year. But by that point, things like Hair Down were around. Out to Grass was on the other field. I'm trying to think. Court Farm would have existed by 2002. Team Bad would have started because it's 20 years at Team Bad this year.
Yeah. Oh, that's a milestone for a regional club.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
There's got to be a T-shirt for that, surely.
Yeah.
An anniversary run of a bit of merch.
Oh, it's got to be the Come On You Riders Now We're Racing T-shirt.
Surely.
The original.
You get something, haven't you?
Well, we had that. They were the classic Team Bad T-shirts. With on the front, come on you riders, and on the back, Now We're Racing, and then there was a set with Bad written on one sleeve. I've got the original one without the sleeves on it anymore.
I'll just do a rerun with just Bad 20 or something. Just completely the same.
And the writing on the front and the writing on the back. Yeah. Classic set. Like I think it might have been like a Comic Sans font or something though. It was
I think it might, obviously, because I go through shitloads of photos these days, like trawling everybody's Facebook like a right stalker. But I'm pretty sure I know the exact T-shirts that you mean because I've
dark blue, yellow writing.
That's it.
That rings a bell. The yellow writing bit when you said that.
It'll be here on the screen now for everybody to see, I'm sure. But yeah, so
that's
really starting to
02.
kick off the scene now. Then, so you've gone from 2000 meeting up with a few people at NAS and not having any crew as such, and then 2001 your first competition. How many people do you think?
No, 2000 was my first competition.
Sorry,
Straight
2000.
in
How many?
season.
Yeah, how many riders do you think were at that?
Um,
As a total guess.
At the first comp, we had a good few riders. I'm trying to think, like there was. We could have had at least 40 riders. There was only like 3 ladies, I think.
Yeah.
A few names that were around in 2000. Leon Dove was around. Laurie Barnes was around. I've got a feeling Rennie might have been around.
Yeah.
I can't, but there's a few names that have kind of like that have been around since like even people who started before me. I think Ant Wilson and Stu started before me.
I was going to say, I was just about to name drop the pair of them, assuming that they were there, because and I've spoken to Ant about his origins and a little bit, because the fucker won't come on here no matter what we do. He's one of my best mates. I speak to him so often, but we cannot persuade him to come on.
We're going to kidnap him.
We can't blame it. Anybody, you know, like if ever we do speak to you guys, don't be shy. We'd love you to come on, but at the same token, we'd never hold it against anyone. But he, you know, obviously name dropped yourself and said Rennie was one of the first. That he remembers being
with his yellow climbing helmet.
Yes, yeah, the now infamous. My favourite version of his yellow helmet, for the record.
Yeah, slightly doesn't fit, kind of like this old shell.
With a little black rim around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's so you've gone from 40 there. Now you're getting into 2002, and I think you've got to start jumping up now to looking at doubling that number there by about 2002 at comps, do you reckon?
I think so. I don't remember. I remember going to the comps, but I don't remember number of people at the comps. I think the only comp I remember number of people at would have been out to grass. I don't remember if it was 2004, when it was the rollers, when it was all rollers all the way down.
2003, 2004?
Yeah, something like that.
I've got pictures of that with Dan there.
It might have been the 0800 reverse year, but it got to the point there were so many people and it became timed runs that some of the team bad guys, like my brother and that, were getting knocked, and people were getting knocked out in qualifying without actually getting a race because it became timed runs. They stopped doing the 4-man race and was just like, okay, let's send one person down after another. And that kind of like, I think that was a feeling like that was a little bit later, because it killed the scene a little bit, because people were just going, I've paid to play.
Yeah, I've got a feeling
race,
the 0800
and I don't get a chance to race.
4 or 5.
Yeah, I think so. They're a little bit later.
The classic Gary, I keep getting it confused. Gary Bowman.
Gary Bowman, yeah.
Big up the Gary Bowman, the classic sticker. Do you know what? He's now retired in the Philippines just on the profits of those stickers. He has a small laundry business, just catering for local hotels. It doesn't make much money, but that's where he's retired now. Fact, you heard it here. Yeah.
Are any of those stickers still out there?
I might still have one.
What, stuck to something, or is it still?
I don't know, because at one point I don't know if I've got a thing. I'll have to ask my parents.
I'm wondering if I had
you remember the IKEA loft beds, the classic silver. I had all the way around the whole of one of those loft beds, and all the way down the ladder I had individual mountain board stickers. And before it got I think, as I had it while I was a student, and when I finished being a student, I think it went into storage, and then it got photographed before my parents got rid of it, because I said to him, like, yeah, you can get rid of the loft bed, but please photograph all those stickers. So there should be somewhere a set with it, like with Howler. Do you remember the Howler from P-Man with the massive thing? 0800 reverse stickers.
I've got a feeling I've probably not too far out of arm's reach over there. I reckon I've got a folder.
I've
with
got
shed
some
loads of
actually.
stickers.
They,
Yeah,
the
same
0800
here.
were circular, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slugs,
No,
you
there
keep
was
the
the
conversation going.
the rectangular ones.
Dan's gonna find it.
I've got a sticker folder as well with some of them. I've got Scum stickers from when you had the team Scum, from the later days of regional clubs.
I wish I'd saved all my t-shirts. Well, bought one for riding in, then
do you
bought
remember
one
this one?
just to keep.
Board.
No, I don't remember that
smoke
one.
it, ride it. That was actually, I think that was more skateboard decks.
I think it was, yeah.
Like hemp deck. But that I suppose it's actually more for slog it.
Yeah, that was a hemp decks before hemp was
We've got the
fashionable.
old- that was when,
The
like you
MBS
say,
one,
it
yeah.
moved over to the italic.
Yes,
there, but
I remember
still with
that
the
one.
wax track in there. I've got a feeling somewhere in here.
This is Dan's homework folder.
It is. Oh man, look
Either that or his wanking folder. He gets them confused.
yeah, look. Ride the hill instruction.
No
training.
way!
Nice.
How have you kept shit like that, man?
Oh, I've got
I've got a folder in the UK in storage with the original. Do you remember the Riders 4 magazine where one season came out? And
Yeah.
it'd have all the different. We had one for the downhill chunk.
Oh, Matt, you'll like that one.
Nice. Yeah, we had one for the different events, and then you turn it over on the back, and it would have all the team riders from the different teams with like mugshots of people, and there'd be adverts inside. They were little like A5 fanzines.
I don't remember that, man. We'll have a picture of it up here, though, if you can find it. Dan, has Dan found the 0800 sticker yet?
No, I'm still looking at the moment. No,
I can dig one out. I think I've got the rectangular one here, maybe.
Oh, look at that.
Let's go and grab it.
First response for mountainboarding.
Nice.
I've got one of them.
Let me just grab out the folder.
I did have stuff, but I think the ex-wife burned it all.
Oh, what a cunt.
I definitely have one of those first responder ones, though. And that out of all the certificates, I think that's the one I use most, my first aid one on the fucking hill.
Yeah,
A bit of history in here, but we'll try and...
I don't know if I've got... I don't think the stickers are in this one.
Oh, wait, 100 River.
Oh, look, there's
there
one.
you go.
Look at it! Straight out of the bag.
I've got a whole folder of stickers.
Yeah, I was going to say I have somewhere, but it's not this one. But I hope that it was.
Team Scum, Team Lame in later years.
Yes, I've definitely got some of those in there.
Yeah.
You can put this back.
Fat face stuff, like mountainboarding ones. Like I think that's early MBS ones, possibly. From the Arctic Challenge.
Oh, you have to wait. Dan will want to see that one.
Okay.
If he comes back in time. Give him a countdown.
I can't find them. I did find that. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I'm in that.
But I'm not.
Is that a VHS, Dan?
Yeah. I haven't even got a VHS player. No, I've had that with my earphones now. Put them down somewhere back over it.
So I've just found this one, Dan, from the American
amazing.
guy that came over for the Arctic Challenge, the World Freestyle.
Yeah.
Which was, I want to say 2004. 2003, I can't remember it being that eventful.
The Arctic Challenge was 2003.
Was it 2003?
No, 2004. 2004.
What year was the
The
Quantox?
Blinder was 2003. Unless it was later on in the year. Maybe
No, because the
2000.
Arctic Challenge was February. It was stupidly cold in a warehouse in Western
That's
Superman.
it. It was February 2004 then. Definitely, because it wasn't February 2003 because it was after Quantox.
Yes,
Definitely.
because I would have been on the newer boards by then.
You were still on a blade at the Quantox.
I rode blade at Quantox because Quantox was 2003. The Americans came over.
Yeah.
So 2002 we've got Team Bad starting, and then we start riding together and riding in LA Woods and becoming the freestyle regional club to beat, almost free ride regional club to beat with our border cross stuff. And then we have the Quantox when the Americans come over and it's super muddy. They've got the new boards, and that's when I first dropped down I borrowed some 8-inch tires. Diamond Tread 8-inch tires off AJ to put on the board because no 9s weren't quick enough against the Americans' 8-inch tires. And then we had they were on the new Comp 16s, brand new Comp 16s. They weren't available to us in the UK, so we were on our blades, on our razors, whatever we had, or they were on the no snow. And we had 2-man racing in the mud. I don't remember if there was even any qualifying at all. If there was qualifying, it was timed, I expect. I don't think it was racing qualifying because it was such a gnarly course. But then the day of competition, I was up against Sayer White for one round, and I beat him, so I'm through to the next round. Then Rennie takes on, I don't remember the exact order, but then Rennie took on Jason Lee, the next American pro. Okay, Rennie comes through. Then I come back and I take on Dave Sansone, and I beat Dave Sansone. We have a bit of crashes on all. I think everyone was mostly kind of crashing.
It was
horrendous conditions, wasn't it?
I only see a couple of.
So for both of my races with the Americans, I had crashes, and we got because we get up and kind of get down. Then Rennie beats, who have we got left? Jeremy Leaf. He came over for that one. So we're now down to Leon Robbins is the only American rider left. My final race is against Chris McCarthy. Neither of us fall off, and I'm on his tail. And then Chris McCarthy goes on to beat Leon Robbins in the final, and we're like, hello, yep, well, American pros, this is UK Mountainboarding.
When you raced Chris in the final there, were you?
Well,
sorry, in the semi-final.
Semi-final, I think
it was pairs.
So I think I got like 8 or some. I didn't. There was maybe a few rounds after mine, but that was my last round.
I was just wondering, were you taking that final right-hander, or were you just launching off of the berm into?
No, that was only. I think the berm launch was. I don't remember doing the berm, trying to jump that whole thing. I think I just held on and rode every feature on the way down.
Yeah.
The berm launch Leon was the one who did the berm launch. Then when tried to gap jump, because the end of the berm wasn't where the transition landed.
No,
you had a certain amount of flat dirt you had to clear first.
Yeah, but it forced the pair of them. Didn't him and Puddin both do the gap in the last run? Or there was something. I remember there was a lot of falling, and Puddin got down to the bottom was fucked. But I think the pair of them both. I got a feeling he was. The track.
I think he did it to try and overtake Puddin by clearing the whole gap to keep the speed in the air because the track was so muddy.
Yeah.
I think it was like, wait a minute, I'm faster in the air if I just gap this section than if I try and ride over this edge.
But do you know what? If only we had a VHS, all of that is sitting on this very tape here. Fuck knows how I'm going to deal with that. Who's got VHS?
It's
available on YouTube, I think. I think someone put it on YouTube.
Yeah, it'll have the skanked soundtrack.
Which the guys are back again. They're now they've reformed and they're playing again.
I saw something go off my Facebook the other day about it.
They played Bristol the other day.
Amazing.
You should go and pay the Team Bad 20th anniversary.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's a good idea.
That would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that must have been 03. So I'm trying to get my time. So 03 would have been the blinder comp, still on the blade. By 04, we've got World Freestyle. And I came third in the amateur division of that and got put into the the pro division with 180s and switch 180s, because we had that massive, crazy 10-foot like acid drop thing where you came down the scaffold platform.
Yeah.
And you launched. I think I was just launching off that land, and I was one of the few amateur riders to be doing that, which would get me points. And then I would do like a 180 and a switch 180, and that was my run because the jumps were so big.
Yeah.
And I also remember standing up above where there was this little cutout where you could start lower down. And I remember on one of my runs, I stood on the top of it and jumped the whole gap in the same way as you do in the skate park, where you're like, okay, I'm going to stand on here and
launch it
and try and kind of clear as much, like acid drop it and try and clear as much as you can.
I actually really enjoyed that the big freeze.
Yeah,
like I say, I remember it with very fond memories. I do remember the cold, that's for sure. But yeah, so that's 2004, 2005, and
2005. I think 2005. I went to university to start studying architecture. So I would have done the comps, but then as the years go on, I was doing the stuff. I was doing as much of the series as I could. I don't know if I was getting to everything.
Yeah.
And I think I don't remember. Yeah, like 05 to 09.
And you would have been at university for what, 5 years doing architecture?
4 years for undergrad, and then went off to Germany after that.
Crikey. So yeah.
So
that's going to take you 2009 and then off to
2009, and then I went out that summer. As soon as I finished my undergrad, I got a job with my professor from the university in his office in Stuttgart. So I moved out to Stuttgart and rode. So I didn't do. I'm trying to think. I did one season. I don't remember if I ever missed a season in the first like 13 seasons. Oh, I didn't enter at least one competition.
At least had your foot still in there.
Yeah, for the first, because I remember, I think it would have been 09. I might have done a UK comp, or I would have gone and done the German comp, or I'd have to look at the dates, because there's also the we had the downhill. Just a minute. The first Swiss downhill would have been 2010, because I came down from Stuttgart to that, which was in Füttingen, which was just this just a fire road, but you didn't want to fall off the edge.
Yeah. Was that single time runs then? Was it
single timed runs? That was JC was riding by that point, and there was two options. You could either do it brakeless, or you could do it with brake. Well, yeah, we could do both, and you could also compete in both categories. So I think JC went and did both categories. I don't remember if he won both categories, but he did. He was flying down the mountain. I was running it brakeless at the time because I was still riding brakeless, just drifting everything you could find to try and slow down.
Whilst we're talking about what you were riding, can I just quickly cut in there, because we have a viewer's question that ties in quite nicely into this at this very point, and that's from an American viewer, rider, Morrison Jae. I don't know how that's pronounced. It's written a bit weird, but I shout out to the man. I've seen him doing some interesting little flips and variations on some of the chaos, not chaos in Kansas. What's the one that's been recently?
Oh, the Coloradical.
Yeah. But his question is for Don Baker. Oh no, sorry, it's for Matt Gaydon. What was the first board you took down a mountain? So you've gone out to Germany 2009. What was your current setup when you went out there, assuming that you're going to be free riding in the mountains?
I think I was on a start. By that point, I would have been on a stock MBS Comp 16, the Jason Lee one.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think it was still the Jason Lee deck, because I split a few in the early days of those. I remember breaking decks, breaking trucks, breaking every piece. I've still got my 50 pence tubs, from Generation 1 heads. It was somehow like the original Generation 1 rock stars. It was so 50 pence.
But even the supports as well. With,
yeah, like, I never snapped one of the bars, but they are rarely shaped.
Yeah.
That's because they're really malleable.
Yeah.
There you go, Morrison. Comp 16. Jason Lee.
I've got to see if I can find when I did the competition.
What are you riding now, Matt?
So now I'm on a kind of custom build almost.
I think that slid in there quite well, didn't it?
Let me put him on. Yeah. Let me put him on.
You had your sticker board. Let's get the boards out.
So this is current setup with nearly every different company in mountainboarding represented on the board. So Hero deck, the MBS new Matrix 2 trucks with Leon's Rhythm X replacement block, orange blocks now. I was running orange and red, but now I switched just to pure orange, which makes it have like they're the medium. Which if I have any kind of like if I was doing fire road stuff, they're super sketchy. There's way too much speed bobble in them.
Yeah.
But to rattle down through the rock gardens and the stuff on the trails, they're so much better than the reds, which just didn't have that sharp turning angle, and I couldn't get around some of the berms on the red.
Well, that's it. And your velocity going down the trail is way slower than it is on a fire. Because
at one point I ran reds in the back with the brake and orange in the front. And I just found that wasn't working, so I've taken that out now. The old, what else? Heel straps are the old SP binding heel straps.
Yeah.
That I had a set
down there.
I had a set on my F3s, and I lost the whole block. It disappeared into my parents' house. So Lorna Bourne, I can't remember. She gave me those SPs when I was up there on holiday. Would you like these straps? Yes, please. So they're still running. T1 tires. I think the later T1s. So the part of it started out as the T1s will come off a Leon 100. So they're like generation 2 T1. No, they'd be T3s then, not T1s. T3 tires. These are the solid aluminium rims.
So these were for your long-standing service to mountainboarding.
Yeah, so I took those, and then it means that you can bolt directly onto the rim with the brake system. Very nice.
And what brake system?
So that's a Magura HS33 with take the bar, take the horseshoe and cut it in half, switch it over.
Yeah. And
then put a crossbar across. To sport. That's Michael Gurman, the Swift Riders design, and then I just tweaked it, like kind of just put a thinner rod in to make mine a little bit lighter, but most of the design comes from him on that.
Oh, big up the Michael Gurman.
So yeah, because that was the brake stuff came a lot later. That's kind of like I was the same with Steve, like anti brakes for many years. Like you don't need a brake, you just drift. Yeah. And then the brake stuff only came when I started. When would that be? That would have been the second Swiss downhill, which would have been 2018 or 2019. We had
quite a recent addition.
Quite a recent addition, yeah.
4 or 5 years.
So 18, 17, I think. Either 18 or 19, because I remember having like riding the trails around here very like once every few months I would try and ride my board on these trails in Innsbruck, and it would just be like, no, this doesn't work very well. It's too steep, it's too thin. Yeah. Then I did the comp, and I borrowed one of Michael's brake boards I put on my trucks. Okay, this is what I need to do. And then I've got a feeling that would have the season after. I don't know what year that was though. I've got a feeling that would have been 2020 maybe. I built my brakes up and sorted all that out. 2019. Have a look. I lose track of the building all the different things. And that's opened up everything now. That feels like that was interesting with your stuff of the e-boards brought you back into it by adding the brake. Chris, New Year's Day, I did 6 hours of riding and hiking because I don't need to use the brake, but I can just a little bit, just so I don't fall off the edge of that cliff.
Yeah, it's about control,
and it just and it just opens up so much more terrain for me here.
Yeah, because you're not using it to slow down. You're using it to feather and tailor your speed to what is
to the environment.
Yeah.
You're using it to slow down. You're not really. You're very rarely ever using it to try and lock up the brakes and stop.
Yeah.
It's a kind of like, okay, I need a little bit of slow down through here. Okay, and then
it's a controlled descent.
Yeah.
And the beauty of them is that you like you say, it's not, you don't have to use them, so you can still push yourself to to your limits for good progression, but you're living to ride another day. And not only that, the energy expenditure for someone like yourself riding the length of terrain that you are, it's your energy expenditure is far less tailoring that using unfortunately a mechanical device, but you're not bashing fuck out of your body like power sliding or skitching every 5 meters, because that's what you're doing when you're on some of these hills without a brake. There's no, with the best will in the world, even the best riders in the world, they might well get down it rapidly quick, but you couldn't. It's unsustainable. And it don't look every day when you want to ride 6 days a week. You just can't do it. You can't. You're not superhuman. No one's superhuman.
I think it's the trail types as well, because some of the wider trails, like the stuff from the bike park in the summer, the blue could be done brakeless. I think the red learning it. The Swiss guys have learned their trails enough that they can run and brakeless because they know the bits where they need to slow down.
Yeah,
but but then you get to some of the stuff, the trails here, that's only the width of your board. I don't know how you would ride it without, because there is nowhere to skitch. You're holding on a channel with a drop on one side of you and rocks and dirt on the other side of you.
Right. I'm so jealous, man. I'm so jealous.
I think it kind of like, it'd be interesting when I next ride in the UK to see how it feels like. I don't know. I think I might leave the brake on for the first few rides because it'll be a lot shallower terrain. Just to get my head round.
And when's that going to be, do you think?
This summer, I think. I'm coming back this summer for a bit.
Oh, yeah.
June
Are you
30th?
coming back for our wife's birthday?
Highly possibly, yeah.
I'll let her know.
I know the news is out there now, but I'm not gonna start. It's not the champs. It's not the UK champs. It's my wife and Slogger's wife's birthdays. And apparently she listens and watches now. So
yes.
I made the mistake of assuming that my wife's never watched an episode, but apparently she has, because she thinks that we might talk about her.
Hi, Lorna.
Hi. Off topic, big time off topic.
It'd be good to see you over here, though. It'd be good to see you in the flesh, because I've not seen you in the flesh since House of Vans. When was that? 4, maybe 5 years ago?
I've been out here. This is my 5th winter out here now. I've been out here for 4.5 years, almost.
That's good.
I only expected to come out for 1. I expected to come out for 1 and become a free ride snowboarder. And I'm still working on the free ride snowboard, but I'm split boarding into more and more technical terrain.
You're definitely doing all right, man. You're doing better than most. That's for sure. And I've got to say that picture you put up the other day of might have even been yesterday.
Yeah.
Shout out to Barton, because you didn't name drop him, but I'm going to name drop Rocky.
I was like, for the people in the know, Yeah, you can have a laugh, and he will know.
He had liked it, but I spotted that he'd liked it, and I thought, I'm not going to go there because I can do it live on air, and they can really get out, flash up, cha-ching. Right, look, Matt, we're coming on towards an hour here now, and I've got we're coming up into sort of more modern times, should we say, in the timeline. Before we go on to some of the guest questions, I wanted to ask you a little bit more, if it's okay, about the Swiss and German riders that you've encountered and the community that you've encountered out there, because I think it's important that we talk about all of the communities around the world, and being that you're one of the boys, old school boys that are out there living it. You know, give us some shout outs to the German crew and tell us what's going on over there and in Switzerland.
I don't really, the German guys, I know the Austrian, there doesn't seem to be a big crew out here. There's a Facebook page for it, and I posted on it more than once, kind of, hello, are we riding this, are we doing that? So it doesn't seem to be very big, but I think that's partly is almost a barrier to entry, that unless you know how to ride a board, there isn't grass hills around Innsbruck. Everyone switches from snow to mountain bikes because they have a proper set of brakes.
Yeah,
they're on a thin, they can ride it down the hill, or so there isn't the same kind of like, there is a little bit with the guys who are further out towards Salzburg where the hills are a bit more shallow, but even around here some of the piste would be too steep to ride down on a mountain board. So the Austrians, so I can see that kind of like from chatting to people and like, okay, if the bike parks I think have got potential. The one in the summer, you could learn to ride on that and you could get down that with or without a brake maybe. But a lot of the local trail stuff, I think it's like, no, I'm holding on. And I've been doing it a while. I met a few of the German riders. We had we had a free ride day last year at Lax Bike Park in Switzerland. So I went back and I stayed. We had a camped in, I want to say we camped in Flims. Between just outside Lax, kind of like between Cure, Flims, around that area. Really nice campsite with David and Marco and Mick, Michael and that whole crew. I think couple of the Germans came down for that. Yeah, a couple of Germans. I've ridden with Christian, who's still competing and still doing. He used to have the dreads. Christian Bergman rides for is a snowboarder in winter and as a mountain boarder in summer.
Okay,
so
that gives me a lead to have a search. I'm not familiar with the guy, but I'm sure I'll find all these.
Yeah, so he was ridden with him a few times, both summer and winter. The Swiss guys are really on it with getting riding the bike parks, and I think that's something it's worth looking at in the UK to see if we can get our foot in the door of some of these bike parks. Yeah, because everything's rideable. Oh, if the bike parks out here are rideable, the bike parks in the UK should be.
Everything's tryable anyway.
I think it's always the unknown worry, isn't it? For bike parks, but it's a shame because especially with the e-boards and that now having accelerate and brake, but then the bikers are only just getting the head round the fact that they've got an electric generation coming in now, and even those still seem to be looked down on at certain bike parks. So
that's what I found interesting over here, both because I was a bit worried at the beginning when I was like, okay, I'm going to go and try Mutters. There's a flow trail in the bike park near here, like 7 kilometer, I think the bike. I walked up it one year when it was closed, and I met some of the guys who were building. Yeah, okay, you can ride this. So I came back the next year with the board, and I think that was I did the Lax bike park in the summer. I think I tried little bits at Hungerberg. And after doing the stuff with the Swiss riders and the mountain bikers not being too, but like almost being like a kind of, you're going down that on that. Yeah, okay. Well, go on then. Like kind
Off
of
you trot.
off you trot. We want to see this.
Yeah, right.
And I found that they're really accommodating because either they wanted to see it, or if you needed to, you sometimes pulled it out of the way. If it was somewhere I was going too slow, I'd like jump out of the way or jump into a kind of. But other times when you get to the point of like, okay, well, I've had people following the bike park in the summer, like, come on, okay, we've seen you ride that bit. Can we follow you down this bit? Yeah, okay, come on then, let's go. And you just hold on. It's like racing again, just without the problem of someone crashing into you.
Oh man, it is pretty intense. Like you say, the steepness is the big thing out there. Everything seems that much steeper in all areas.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's do a couple of viewers' questions as such. There are a couple that tie together. So
one quick thing on the board that I did differently. So here I set up the holes where you could have it, like you could set whether you wanted your bindings wide stance or closed stance. Yeah.
On the Hero.
So, yeah. On the Hero.
Yeah.
So I've moved all my bindings, and because I got a whole. I think it was Graham. I can't remember his surname now. From Team Neat, sent me some of the old metal MBS plates because I only had the plastic ones.
Right. And
I've shifted my whole bindings back, so I'm offset off the back like a directional snowboard. So I've used the back holes on the back one, and I've moved everything back, so I'm always hanging off the back of the board. It's not.
You got loads of nose now. So you got
I've got more. Yeah, I've got more nose than. It's only like a little bit, but I don't know how noticeable it is. But it's not center set like we always used to have, because we'd only have one set of holes. I've just pushed everything I can towards the tail, so then I can just bring the front up and hang on.
Yeah, sit on your back.
The back. Yeah.
Wait on
sit
your
on the back foot. If the front goes over it, and then the back will follow.
Exactly, yeah. Or you do the classic scorpion.
Yeah. No, sorry. Back to your riders' questions.
That's all right. No. We're here to talk about anything that comes up, man. So it makes no odds. We're doing what we're doing. We'll go over to Dom Baker, our last guest, actually messaged in.
Yeah, I know Dom Baker.
You do indeed. He sent us a couple of pictures, which we'll ping up here, of a trip to America.
Yeah.
When was that, Matt?
That was 2012. Just finished my masters. And I was dating an American I'd met on my masters, so I went out and stayed in California for a month, and I then hooked up with him, hooked up with Miguel, the French rider, I can't remember his surname now. Who did the original, used to work for YouTube. Set up, I don't know if he did Surfing Dirt, I can't remember it.
Right.
Oh, what's his name? I can't remember his surname. But he's been around for
Matt Brind will be shouting
time.
at his screen now.
we'll have someone. It'll be up there, won't it?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So he was still living out there working for you. I think he was working for YouTube at the time. So I rode with him as well as that was the Belmont session. So the Belmont free ride. The guys there.
Was that? Oh no.
That was me, Dom, and Mika. I think I got it. So we can just use the phone to bring that.
Would that have been this sort of time?
Yeah, that one. So the guy at the top is going to be Nico.
Okay, got you.
The three of us.
Another quick one there for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a kind of like gnarly, yeah, like proper, really good times. Kind of like fire roads, and then just this crazy area that Dom took us up to.
Yeah,
down through kind of like desert landscape with like little rock drops and stuff.
Oh, awesome!
Super dusty.
Well, his question. You talk about landscapes and stuff. His question actually is, where is the most scenic mountain boarding destination that you've been to? Describe the area and the session for us. Good question, Dom.
It's a great banging question.
That's a hard one. Because I've done quite a few mountains over the years. I've done 3 Swiss sessions, a lot of sessions over here in Austria. And yeah, or here's one on the mountain there, or on the.
Can you strip them down then? One for how picturesque it was, and another for how gnarly it was.
Because that's the interesting thing with the picturesque, because you live here, you get used to the mountains. Yeah. It's like when I first moved here, wow, this is amazing. Now it's just like, that's where I live. I'm trying to remember what the view from Belmont was. I can't remember what it was. I remember it just being kind of like, it was near, I think it was out towards Santa Cruz way. It was down that way, but I can't remember it was being like. That's a hard one.
A lot of thought going into this one right now.
Yeah, because I remember the first downhill comp in Füttingen, I think it was, near Interlaken. I remember that we were just literally just looking across the hillside into, because there wasn't any lifts there. That was all hike back up the hill again or take the minibus back up the hill.
Oh, mega.
Because I feel that's almost better than some of the stuff here, where it's kind of like, where you've got like, if you've got a bike park with lifts, then you kind of like, you see all the terrain and everything built up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All I've got is mental images of you like bloody what's the face in Sound of Music, skipping through meadows, Edelweiss meadows. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a stick puppy, Dan.
I don't do a lot of that here, actually. I've tried it once, I think, on the
skipping through meadows.
No, riding the mountain board on the grass fields in the summer.
Yeah.
It's never really kind of like, okay, that's okay, but it's really bumpy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Let's go in the trail instead.
It always looks way more appealing than it
super
actually
smooth. Okay. I don't have a good answer for his question. That's a good question.
Have a think about it, Matt. I'll give you another one, and we'll come back to it.
It would be. I'd have to say one of the mountain trails. I think, or that kind of where I'm like kind of. Yeah, because Mutters isn't that special. Yeah, okay. Next I'm scanning my brain.
In there.
I thought your Wi-Fi was frozen again.
It's me processing it.
We can hear the beep bop beep bop. The old dial-up tone. Well, I'll bring you back into something that'll take your mind off that a minute. And we have it on good authority that you're quite fastidious about your laundry techniques. This question comes in from Adam Barton. Now,
okay.
I don't know if you know the name Adam Barton, or
I've heard of the name Adam Barton from your podcast, but he's a generation or two later than me.
I think he is a few generations behind, maybe like about 20.
Yeah. He's part as you said with Eamon Shaw, and I was watching that earlier this week, like kind of almost not, but he's in the new generation, because I remember Eamon Shaw from riding with him and seeing the helmet on the hill.
I've not heard that bad. The new generation.
The new gen. Well, anyway, here's his question. Yeah. Hold up. Let me turn it up. for us. I didn't realise we were so low on volume there.
Nothing spectacular this week, just a half-scouse twat stuck in traffic. My question is, do you iron your socks? And if so, why? Why would you do that?
No, I don't think I've ever ironed my socks.
Oh. It's got far too much time.
I cannot think of anyone who would iron their socks, least of all any mountain boarder that I've ever. I mean, you're lucky if got a matching. No, my wife is watching this. She will do a nut.
I'm sure the second the second generation boys were all ironing their 3/4 length shorts though.
yeah. Oh, we've done well so far, haven't we? 2.25 hours, and we've not mentioned the king of 3/4. We could go to his.
Oh no, we did. We mentioned him earlier when we were asking him, trying to work out the name of the French Michael.
This is true. Yeah.
But no one's called him a prick yet.
Oh no one has yet.
No one didn't.
Should we go to his question if I can find?
No, but I've got riding socks.
You have
my old snowboard socks are now my riding socks for mountainboarding because they go all the way up to the bottom of your knee pads in, so you keep your shins protected when you're riding.
Well, in that case, start ironing them, you scruffy cunt.
Just because it's easier to find, and I like him. Scott Leadbitter has sent an amazing one tonight. Sloggs hasn't seen this.
No,
I have seen this, and I have to say, I like this one. It goes, just to warn you, it goes on for a minute or so.
Okay.
It's all in, Matt. And big up to the dirt while you're on it. Anyway, question for Mandy Roo. Do you dress to the left or to the right? It's a question on my grade. Personally, if you ask me. Anyhow, my question is, you split boards, you skateboards, you downhill skates, awesome mountain board. I've known you for a long time. Do you want 17 session? Are you the same person that sneaks off? A couple of cheeky lunges behind the car? Maybe do the plank or whatever like that? Or do you just simply step on your board and off you go? Now that you're advancing in age, of course, but so is there a set routine you have before you go on the session? Or are you just naturally gifted? That's my question. Take it easy, bud.
I've got no idea what any of that was.
Right. I heard something about like kind of you dress to the left or to the right.
Right. So yeah, it's the accent, Matt. It's Geordie. I
don't know.
There were two questions.
No, I've known him long enough to actually know what he's saying.
I don't know, something about up the tune or something. I don't know. I can't even understand it myself. But luckily, he transcribed it for me. And the first question was from Andy Roodog, and his question was, do you dress to the left or to the right?
I don't know. I have my own unique style.
Oh, yeah. Go on. Are you going to indulge us with your unique style of dressing to the left or to the right?
I don't even think about it.
I dress left for the record.
I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't really kind of.
Well.
Okay. What's
the second question? Is obviously from Scotty, and he says, now that you're starting to advance in years somewhat more, do you have a particular like a warm-up routine? Do you stretch off, do a few lunges, or that sort of thing? Are you that sort of guy, or do you just stick your board down, get on it, and ride? Or
I think I don't have a warm-up routine in that I'm doing any stretches or exercise, but because I'm either hiking to the mountain, I'm with the mountain board. I'm either hiking with the board or to get up the trail, or I'm split boarding, so I'm hiking up the mountain. I kind of do my exercise by getting there.
Yeah.
So I'm watchful though if I get like a cramp or something that I'm kind of okay, and then I need to kind of maybe stop so I don't do myself a tendon damage. I've done skateboarding before. Like, oh, okay, cramp, and then okay, there goes the Achilles or whatever. But I don't really have any warm-ups at all. I don't really I never really had warm-ups. I found I'm getting fit. I found I'm getting fitter out here though. Maybe because I do Snowdon every weekend. In altitude.
Yeah, definitely. I've got to say I was fittest when I think certainly aerobically fittest.
Yeah.
When I was out there, and it showed, people had come out and visit, and you just walk a few meters with a bit of incline, and everybody was, where they got, they're all like miles behind, like, So yeah, no real routine for stretching.
No.
Chuck it down like a legend. Get on it and ride it.
I think the only thing I warm up for now is I warm up when I'm bouldering. I start on an easy route so I don't get so pumped. My arms are kind of like, my fingers are going to fall off. But that's just because otherwise you don't get to climb as much. You just burn out too quickly. But with all the board sports, it's the getting there usually. The earn your turns, hike to get there, or sometimes even hike sections of trail to check it. So okay. Yeah,
I have to say I do like that about mountain boarding and snowboarding, as you said it there, that earning your turns. It does it for me. It really does. Even with the electric mountain boards, like say Snowdon and stuff like that, we've probably rode a good high percentage of that, but there was obviously a lot of time when you're getting off and carrying and picking your board up and dragging it, and it does take it out of you massively, but yeah, definitely a fan of earning the turns.
I think it makes a huge difference, especially with the mountain boarding. Yeah, you kind of like I think the split boarding is why I like the split boarding so much, because it's so similar to the hike back up the hill with the mountain board.
Yeah.
And then the earn your turns with your split board. Whoever is, you might not even know the people who are up on that ridge line with you. There'll be another crew, but it will just be like, hello, yeah. There's 5 of us up here, and we've taken 2 hours to get here, but we've got untracked terrain and
yeah.
And that makes it like kind of.
Do you think you'll be out in the next few days?
I'm looking at going out tomorrow. I just need to review. I think tomorrow I might go out and then and look at digging a snow pit and review what I think the avalanche, because the avalanche level is quite high, like 3-4 at the moment, I think. But the level of snow that's a blanket 3-4, whereas there's only 30 centimeters coming to Axums in the last 48 hours. It's not the 60 that's in trim or whatever. So it'll be like, okay, let me go and do my own review of what I consider.
Have you had much variation in temperature in the last?
Yeah, it was raining today in the garden, so it's gone up quite quickly, quite warm. It hasn't stayed super cold.
Yeah.
But it's a north-facing aspect I was looking at to ride tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's quite steep, so I need to review kind of okay, where is it? What's my get out climbs? Or is there going to be other people on the skin track? Because it'll be split boarding tomorrow. So split my snowboard in half, put the bindings on, and then skin up.
Will you skin up the face that you're descending?
Skin up the face. I'm going to descend. Review that, and then come back down it again.
Oh,
maybe adjust the line back down a little bit, because I think I was looking at another little detour, but I'll see it. I'll review it. I might not, but it'll still be one of those ones of kind of
hours just about snowboarding, Matt. I really do. But we must persist with carrying on, I'm afraid.
Yeah, with the wheelie board.
Tom Donaldson's next in the hot seat for questions. I say questions because he's sent in a couple. He sent in 3. The first 2 of which we shall do now. And then the third one ties in to Matthew Brind's question. Okay, so his first question is, what is your mustache grooming routine? I don't know, what's this about? Fucking grooming, laundry, routine, stretching? what do these people think you are, Matt?
I don't mind. I used to kind of like comb it, and I'd always kind of like, I think I kind of like, in the early days I had like Fu Manchu. I trimmed the middle out and it would just grow on the ends.
You had some interesting haircuts and facial hairs over the years, and let's be honest, there have been some ones. And then when I came here, I had the big moustache that curled all the way around, but that would then freeze and kind of like almost means I couldn't open my mouth because it would freeze a bit. So then that's why I've got the free ride beard now. And I kind of trim it so I can actually, like, when it gets like the picture with the crazy face of Snow, you can still kind of move and breathe and keep your chin warm. Well, this is it.
I've got, like, there's with the moustache, I found a good wax. I can't remember who made it, but I found a really good beeswax that would kind of like, you could really kind of like blend it in and get it to kind of like
get a bit of shape and volume to it.
Yeah. Twist it and keep twisting it all the time, and it will start to kind of grow into a good. Because he's championed some good moustaches and good facial hair at times, Tom Donaldson. I'm pleased to hear that he's still, watching and listening. Are you still there, Sloggs? Oh, your volume's gone. Can't hear him. We'll take this advantage tonight. Still can't hear you. You keep trying and come back into the conversation when you can. You haven't muted him, have you?
I've not touched nothing.
You haven't just turned off
the look of stress and strain now.
Testing.
Hey!
Yeah.
There'll be a mute button on there that I didn't know about.
Tom's second question is, does your snore still two-toned and sound like blowing into a comb with tracing paper? I've never heard this.
I remember that. I remember. So I can tell you the story behind that. Right. So we're in Serbia, and I've broken my collarbone in the qualifiers, so I can only lie on my back. And because I'm lying on my back, I'm snoring, and it's like a. So we're all in the same hostel. This would have been qualifying. So I think, but after qualifying, we had one party, and they put me in, like, I can only describe it as like the kids' fairy wings. It was literally straps that they made bandages into these straps that went around and then crossed over behind my back, as if it was like the classic kids' fairy wings. And then pulled it tight, so it pulled my collarbone into place and kept the two bones in place, so I could then move around and kind of like keep doing it, because they couldn't do anything with it in Serbia, and just sent me home with the X-ray and this harness to hold my shoulders in place.
Not a place to break bones then.
No, it was really good because I gotta give it to them. So that I did that. I come back to the UK with a physical X-ray, which I had no idea what to do, so they put it on the window in the hospital because they didn't have a machine for it. Yeah. But I was like, I can already move it within like the 2 or 3 days after coming back. I had to, because I packed my mountain board inside my rucksack, so we took and a longboard. So we took the longboard wheels and we bolted them to the bottom of my rucksack, so I could drag my rucksack with my good arm. I remember Raph building that for me, Raph and Richard Sykes, and and then so that was that. After I'm lying there, I don't remember if it was the after qualifying party or if it was the final party. It might have been after the final party. So all the UK riders are in one room. I could tell you that story, but maybe I don't know.
Oh, you can definitely tell us.
You can definitely tell us that
Definitely.
story, Matt.
So I think I've got like there's just these weird like double beds. So there's two. Like I'm just lying there on one half of the double bed I'm on, just like, and the two Rich Sykes, and I think that Tom Donaldson have got the next double bed, and they're just like going to come in like, oh, we can't deal with this. And they were just stood at the end of the bed, just like two small school children, trying not to wet themselves.
But we assume then that you're not still snoring like that.
I don't think so. My friends I've gone free ride camping with have never commented on it.
Fair. Because the rock opera himself, Bizzle, is famous for his snore. As I'm sure you must have heard. Well, you can probably hear him from wherever he is in the world. It's incredible. But yeah. So I'll lay the next question out here because I've not seen this video because I've Matt sent it to me and he said he's setting himself up for a bit of a burn here apparently.
I think I know. Okay, I'm gonna what is
and Tom Donaldson, his third question was, is there any beef still with Brind?
Oh yes,
right.
Yes.
So,
this is the story you're waiting for, then.
Right. Okay, so this is Matt Brind's question. Let's see what he has to say about it, and then you can fill us in on all the bits that the rest of the mountain board community are out of the loop.
Hey Matt here. Just watching some natural selection. Hope you're having a good winter and you got some good split boarding in already. My question for you is, throw your mind back to the World Border Cross Championships 2013. There was a pretty good party the first night of that, and I heard things went a little bit awry. So I was just wondering how long did it take to get the smell out of your clothes after that first night at Serbia 2013 World Champs? How long? Cheers. Hey Matt here.
Right. So me and Sloggs weren't at 2013 Serbia. Obviously, only the people that were. You're on the dirt. This shit. What's that? What's all this shit about?
So, if I remember right, I can't remember. The Americans, I think it was Cody, and it may have been some others, got Matt Brind a little bit drunk. And so he decided to leave. He thought he had opened the window because it wasn't a toilet in our room. He had to go down the stairs and outside. But okay, the other option would be if he just walked out of the door or opened the window onto and he would just pee out of the window onto, because he needed to pee out of the window and onto the. It wouldn't have been so good because it would have landed in the swimming pool or on the balcony, on the little balcony thing. No, he didn't open the window. He just peed in the corner. Because I bought my mountain board in my rucksack in pieces, took the whole mountain board apart and took a whole longboard apart and packed it inside a hiking rucksack. All my clothes were in a perfect stack on the floor in the corner. He proceeds to pee his way through the whole pile. So the next morning we get up and find that he hasn't opened the window or gone. He's got up in the night and decided to pee on my clothes. So the next morning, it was really good because the next morning I said to him, I think I was annoyed, but at the same time, I said, right, okay, you go and see the lady downstairs who runs this hostel, and you say what you've done and you need my clothes washed and dried by. Not dried by this evening, but I want them washed so I've got clothes because I've only got the clothes I stand up in.
Yeah,
that were not in the fresh pile. My riding stuff wasn't there, and because he did that and he got it and he brought me back a pile of clean clothes and I don't remember them ever having any smell. Maybe because we stank from being mountain boarders.
Yeah. That's probably the nicest you ever smell ever.
It wasn't noticeable, but because he did that, then there wasn't a beef with him for because he did what I asked and he got on with it and wasn't just like, oh no, it's not my fault.
If it makes you feel any better, Matt,
be careful what you're gonna say.
If it makes you feel any better, what what's Dave Compton gonna do? I wasn't gonna. I don't know that. Well, I don't know that full story. I'm actually going to tell a different
I was going to say, we're going to have like
story, but...
we're going to have a whole episode of deleted scenes.
But years ago, when I did my last... I love that I'm telling this out loud. Years ago, I think it was my last season for pleasure in France. And Barton and Chris Williamson, Scuzz Chris, were both out there rooming with me and stuff, and we got right to the end of the season. We had absolutely amazing time. And anyhow, at the end of the season, everybody goes away on an end of season trip, like a little mini break holiday, and we all shipped up to the headquarters in Courchevel 1550 at the time, and I bunked in a room with Chris Williamson. So he goes out and gets absolutely larruped on one of the last nights of the season, essentially. Comes into the bedroom. He's up on top bunk. I'm down bottom bunk. We're both asleep. Anyhow, I wake up and there's like this on the bottom of my duvet. And I wake up and all I could see is from there, like where the top bunk is there. Cock out, just pissing over the bottom of the bed. I'm like, "Oh, how you doing? Come wake up! What are you doing?" And like, come to, and took himself off. I think he ended up going and sleeping downstairs. Oh, anyhow, that went for it. It is what it is, mate. No bother to me, really. I think I probably just rolled over and went back to sleep. But flash forward now about 2 months from this time, and I'm now back in England, and I've just come down to Cornwall. I'm staying on my new boss's drive in their caravan, and the boss I'd known for years from France, and they were gracious enough to employ me. They still employ me to this day. Nice. And he goes out, we go out and get absolutely wankered. And I'm sitting there and I've told this story to him about being pissed on recently and stuff. And it's like inexcusable, isn't it? So we go out within a few days of this story. Get absolutely wankered. I come back. And then the next morning, I wake up, go to work, and the boss comes in. Oh, a bit damp down there, like in front of the boiler. So he's checking the boiler, like opening up, checking it for leaks and stuff. And he says, "Dan, do you know what's all this about?" I said, "I don't know." He's like, "I think this is piss." And I'd woken up in the middle of the night. You know, I'm in new environments, I'm a random caravan. And I haven't found my way to the toilet. I've opened up the boiler cupboard and just pissed in the boiler cupboard. So it happens, Matt. I sympathise with you. I wouldn't have done. Dave Compton sympathise with you as well, I'm sure.
Who was the one that did it at Glen Devon in the farmhouse?
Dave Compton. I don't know.
Well, I remember that was one of the dads of one of the younger riders, I think. I remember one of the dads of one of the younger riders didn't want to stay in a tent, so he stayed in the bed in the bed and breakfast next to Glen Devon.
And then got really pissed and
then peed on the floor and it went through the ceiling.
Oh no!
Because we were all camping, but we heard about it like
right. If you know who that was, let us know.
I remember Glen Devon was a crazy race.
Right. Yeah.
Glen Devon was with the tree with the mattress on.
That's it.
But it was also the early generation where the trucks would break.
Yes. Yeah.
So I remember
the matrix plastic.
The matrix blocks would explode if you hit them hard enough with another board. I won a race where my back truck went over the line before my board and me. when the guy, we had one last kicker.
But just the axle
One last
going
tabletop.
past.
Yeah,
Just taking you.
he came past, clipped speed wobble, clipped the back off my board and threw me over the front. And so my axle went over the line first. I go over the line, somehow kind of get front flipped over the line, and then have to rebuild my board because I've qualified for the next round because I was first. AJ, I need a new whole truck, please.
Oh man, that event, I don't know who I was with at the time, but I remember getting on a quad and there was a hill on the other side of the valley, and I remember getting on a quad. There was about 5 or 6 people all sat on this quad with their boards hanging onto the side, getting driven up the side of the other side of the valley, and whoever the fucking quad flipped on all of us. Like mountain boarders bailing off of this quad, and this quad just going like about 100 meters down this hill. It must have been fucked at the bottom, just fit for the breakers and nothing else. But I'd love to know who I was with and who.
I don't remember that. I remember sledging on the dew with the mesh fence at the bottom on that grass hill on the other side, and the midges as well.
Yeah, midges.
Being absolutely mental. Because we had a few crazy years, didn't we, in Scotland? We had Perth where it was so wet, the track was almost flat, and the next day we went free riding.
I never.
And that was in the early. That was in the early era of. That was in the time when we could have it was so wet we did burning stick fights, me and Scouse over the fire, Willow Prey. Okay, Scouse. But you just steamed. It was so wet. You dried out, stood in the middle of a fire fighting each other. I stood on logs. We didn't bash each other with sticks.
In the middle of a fire.
Yeah. And then I think it was his trousers, but he had some slightly more track
nylon-y.
Nylon.
That's unlike a Scouse,
literally the back set light. I don't remember if it was, but someone's trousers got set on ended up going up in flames that night. I can't remember what year Perth was. I think Glendevon was the year of the ATB photo annual.
04, 05, something like that.
I think 04 or 05. I have a feeling it might have been 05, towards the end of the ATB mag series, when it was 2 or 3 years of ATB mags, and then they brought out the single photo annual with it was the same year as the slopestyle. I think it might have been 2004 with the Priory slopestyle competition with the massive great quarter pipe, no snow.
Pipe. Yeah.
And when you used to do fancy dress racing and fancy dress competitions.
Yeah, from one of them at East.
We did them at East, but we also did one at the Priory.
Yes, I think you
we did it down the.
Was it flares?
I had flares with rope in the bottom. I was the Funk Soul brother with a massive afro over the top of my helmet, and a big black afro over the top of my helmet, and some flared trousers with rope in the bottom, so they stayed flared at all times. There was the other one was, who was the other classic that year? Andy Ramsey in a ghillie suit and a broken ankle, going down on his chest, going down the border cross course. Because he couldn't stand on a board, so he lied on a board in a ghillie suit.
He broke his ankle out to grass that year, didn't he? Was that the year? Because he mashed it, didn't he?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure
yes,
it was.
He had it in a cast, but he didn't want to not ride, so he was kind of
luge, like skeleton luging down it.
Yeah.
Look, guys, we're knocking on a decent whack of time here, and we've not hit up Sloggs' 10 set yet.
No, but you've got one more question, I think, ain't you?
Have I?
Yeah, I've sent it to you.
Have you? Oh, what? You've sent me a question?
Yeah, not from me.
Why don't you just ask it?
Well, it's not from me. It's not from me. It's from
Oh, right. I did. Oh man, I've got so many different attachments.
I think that's on. Yeah, that's Messenger just straight to you. Everywhere.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Limited edition.
Oh, shall I do my 10 set while you find that?
Yeah, you do that.
All right, Matt.
Yep.
10 questions. Don't think about them too much.
Okay.
All right. Reg or goof?
Goofy.
Freestyle or border cross?
Border cross.
Park or free ride?
Free ride.
Jump or grind?
I was always more of a grind person on the snowboards, or if I ever tried it on like grind and stuff. Never been a big jump person, unless it's a drop. I'm happy with drops, but going over kickers was never really my thing.
Right. Favorite rider? Your favorite rider? That's not necessarily the best rider.
Yeah.
That does stump a lot of people, to be fair.
I didn't think, because I've got so many friends in the sport that I'd be like, okay, this one and this one.
That's it. You can
I think
almost do.
First one that comes. I just go with the first one you said. First one that comes to my head.
Yeah.
Steve.
And he just cuts
Oh,
out
I
there.
missed it.
Your reception went just as you said that then.
Right, let's try that again. Favorite rider?
Steve Burtbeck.
There we go, we got it.
There we go. That's a fucking great shout.
Okay.
Right.
I
Mountain
did
or...
so many trips with him, and we would ride like. Matt, God, sorry, yep.
No.
No. You give Burbeck a shout out a minute.
Yeah, like in the early days of Team Bad, we would kind of like. I got quite a musical education from him of like things like Carter and the Unstoppable Sex Machine and these kind of like the Clash and some of that music.
Gay Bikers and Acid.
But then also, I never listened to them. It's one of the ones he never played me. I was listening to his podcast though. It was quite interesting, kind of. But also just what we were trying to ride. Always trying to push what we were free riding down.
Yeah.
Him, Beer, and the whole Team Bad crew of like kind of always kind of trying to do LA Woods or random
Bunch of fucking chargers.
Yeah, we're going down here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Right. Mountain or free ride? Mountain or woodland? Sorry.
Can I have Matt Woodland? I'd say always woodland. Woodland if it's on the mountain or if it's in the UK has always been. I'd much rather do woodland than like open face on a mountain board. On a snowboard, I think, yeah, bit of both. I kind of like. There's so nice just riding big stuff on the mountain.
Favorite center?
I used to like I think I always like Court Farm because Court Farm both border cross tracks ran really nicely. The freestyle there, I think I did a bit of it, but it was never that crazily big. I think it was like, so I remember early days of Court Farm border cross being really good as well. When the original black run and stuff, where you just held on and floated through it. If you got the berms right, it connected and flowed really well, the black track. But also Hair Down, because Hair Down was one of those ones where you didn't want to fall off. But I don't know if I'm getting into your next question, sorry.
Hair Down was gnarly, though, wasn't it? It's fucking massive chunks of flint. Just ripped you to shreds. That's why you wanted to stay up more than anything on that track. Because you knew if you was going down minus a few bloody bits of skin. And a cup of Miller blood. Brakes or no? Now, I'll put this one down before we'd had the conversation that we had previously.
I think I don't know. I need to put almost a bit of a caveat in that, like that. I would say if it's shallow enough, you don't need brakes. If you're learning, you don't need brakes. It's better to drift and learn to slide. Yeah. If you want to open up new freeride terrain in the same way with the e-board, then the brakes, it makes sense. I can scope out a track and work out if I need to put the brakes on so I don't go down off a drop or something, or ride stuff that I could never ride without a brake.
Yeah, perfect. That makes perfect sense.
But if I ride the UK, the brake might come off, and I just put it back on again for I wouldn't do LA Woods or do some of our classic trails with a brake. It just wouldn't feel right.
Yeah,
it's all about like kind of drifting and holding on and riding berms.
And what you said about not learning with a brake is spot on, because you need to learn to get yourself out of trouble.
Yes.
First and foremost.
Yeah, if it's not something to be relied upon.
No, yeah. Can you still stop with that if the brake fails on you?
Exactly that. You still need to be able to stop should the mechanics or the electrics, as the case may be, with the.
I had that this summer actually. Had to stop and I ended up just board sliding around on a berm at Lax because my brakes heated up too much. They stopped working because they overheated.
Oh my goodness!
I had to just hike down that little technical section and let them cool off a bit, and then I could ride again.
Did you burn yourself when you're burning? Oh.
I think because they're solid metal rims. It was it was a kind of like, ow, okay, that's hot.
Yeah.
When you kind of pick up the board to kind of move off the trail to let the bikers pass.
Right, I got one last question. Favorite board you've ever owned?
Oh,
it's a stumper that.
If I throw a little one in that we've not done before. We could be here a while.
Blade. As I really like this, I really like my hero board, but if I hadn't had that blade to start with, that big soft tank of a deck, I wouldn't have been able to keep progressing with what I've done. I think if I'd been on like a wooden cricket or something, maybe I wouldn't have had that same ride as I did with that blade. But I've still got it at home somewhere. That kind of kept that board. I've kept the deck. My brother's got a complete, but I've just kept the deck. The rest of it was no point in storing for years. How
is your brother, by the way?
Yeah, he's good. He's currently in Turkey for a few months, and then he'll be back in the summer again.
Excellent. Well, I think I did maybe see him last year.
He was back in the country. He came back from Asia when the COVID stuff got really political. So he jumped, and the work there was finished. Yeah. Excellent. So he would have been around last summer.
Did you find Joe's question?
You've given away who it is now. You fucking douchebag. All that time, don't say it is. Don't say it. Yes, I did find Joe's question. Here he is. Look at that. There's a place for a while.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready when you are. So I've got two questions for Matt Gaydon. First one is, does he really wish he still had a blade? And the second one is, which is a better example of brutalist architecture, Luton City Council or Carlisle City Council? Thank you.
Did you get them?
Yes. So, do I still wish I had a blade? I've still got the blade. I've got because the rest of it is almost kind of like. I remember we switched out the steel trucks on that blade as soon as the aluminium trucks came in. Like that blade, as soon as things were available to be changed for better stuff, the deck was the last thing to be changed over, and that was only when they brought out the Comp 16 complete, like the whole 100 length deck. It was like, okay, let's try this shorter deck.
Yeah.
And I know Brutalist architecture. I don't know the two projects. That's the problem.
So for a little background for those viewers that don't know you, obviously we covered earlier that you're an architect, but you're dealing quite specific style architecture, don't you? Really, I think. Would I be correct to say that?
Yes, most of my projects are complex geometry, not always big scale. Like I've worked on big, like Abu Dhabi Airport scale, but I've also worked on like a roof extension for a London office. But both of them were all like kind of a bit of complex geometry or folded planes, mathematics, working out calculations with maths rather than trying to draw it. I'm already sitting out.
So you're telling me you don't do it with crayons?
No, if I can write a code to draw it for me, I will. Work out the maths for it.
Yeah.
Most things you can break down into like Euclidean geometry and mathematics and like, well, geometry. I can't do the hardcore maths. All my mathematics is always usually based around some kind of visual geometry, circles, lines, triangles, and calculations like that. I'm not like, I don't understand statistics. I don't understand the kind of some of this pure mathematics based stuff.
Right.
Not my thing.
Stuff that has logic and rules.
So stuff that's got logic and rules, and usually something you can work out to visualize. If you can visualize it on screen and go and understand if it's okay, that works. That's that.
Yeah. Excellent.
Kind of, with geometry.
On that.
So is his question here, 2 different council buildings? Which one's the best for brutalist?
I don't know which one's the Aldershot and.
I'm not sure. I'd have to replay the message.
I'm not sure if he's taking the piss as well either, to be fair.
Well, yeah.
It is Joe Jones.
To be able to come up with that shit. But then
he'd literally come up with it on the fucking dot. I just put him on the spot and said, right. So it's probably...
Are you sitting there randomly Googling the council buildings?
Because I don't know them. Yeah.
Oh, bless Matt. There may not be though. Those buildings might not exist.
Yeah, because I know the classic brutalist one up that way would be the Preston bus depot, which is very similar to the Barbican in London with the big scooped concrete kind of scoops going along the sides.
Right.
That's the one that I would know up that area. Classic brutalist, and it's the same as the Barbican, similar style to Barbican in London. Not really one for the brutalist.
The only time I pay attention to architecture is if it's got a transition or a drop on it. To be fair, and then it catches my fucking eye. I go, "Oh, hello."
Yeah.
Oh, you'd like Landesplatz here in Innsbruck. It's there's a war memorial in the middle, but an architect is one of the people who did the design for the plaza, so it's all curved concrete, and there's a map saying these transitions are skatable. This transition, because it has a glass balustrade.
So it's not the same guy who did a lot of work in South America. Is that the same architect who did that? I remember seeing a video done recently in the last couple of years about.
No, you're thinking
of architect.
Yes, you're thinking of Felix Candelar with hyperparabolic curves, and what went on to become the stuff that you see with Santiago Calatrava and his stuff in Valencia in Spain, and the kind of really organic super lightweight shells. Yeah, I know who you mean, but no, this is a new guy. Who's just a local architect here as a skater, so he designed it all with this plaza that you could skate.
Amazing. Oh, that would be.
I'll be searching that out as soon as I get off.
I was going to say, you'll have to. I'll get an image up on the screen for the people. But
send us a link as soon as we come off here, Matt.
Okay. It's quite interesting with the little sign as well, telling you where you're at, what transitions, because it's all transitions. But certain transitions, they're like, please don't skate the memorial transition, but you can skate.
Yeah, be respectful of what you are allowed to. We've allowed you this. Please respect this. That's fair enough, isn't it? Yeah, you can't really argue with that. Look, gents, we're coming up on 2 hours. Another fucking long one here. Oh, I'm loving this. It's adding on hours to my weekly editing time. I'm going to sort of say, is there anything you want to say or you want to put out there? Any shout outs, any sort of
disses?
Yeah. You want to start some beef? If you want to call Matt Brind a prick, pissing on your clothes.
No, I've got respect for Matt Brind. He's kind of pushing the sport. He's always kind of like
we say this every week because we slate him every week, but
we do love that guy.
Yeah, and it's all done from a good place because the guy does so much for the sport and has done so much for the sport over all his years tenureship. it'd be a very different UK landscape without him and his brother, and that sort of crew. I
always appreciated that with mountainboarding, and just like that I wasn't one of the fastest riders on the hill. I wasn't one of the freestylers, but I still felt like I got respect from him, Tommy Kay. I'd still like have a good kind of like.
Oh, you definitely.
I was like kind of like
commanded
because I was one of the older people, older school generation. Like, he's still going, he's still holding on.
Well, that's it. You have, and not just holding on. I mean, if anything, you're still. Free ride, all mountain boarders free ride, and all mountain boarders love free riding, but there's only a few from the UK that have ever really sort of took it on to that next level. There's been a lot of people, thankfully, lots of people have had tastes of it and stuff like that when doing European comps, or people have come out to France and done little road trips. But to come from the UK and to pursue it on a much grander scale, I mean, respect to the people who live there and ride there from day dot, and that's their bread and butter, because it takes a special sort of person to look at a mountain and go, I want to ride that, and go for it and not give up, not get injured, not pussy out. The respect to you, Matt, for taking that next level, because like I say, it's easy to sell a freestyler with some nice pictures and some good video images, but I think free riders are a bit harder to sell. They're not as marketable. Because
they hide away in the fucking woods all the time. You never see them.
But it's the same with snowboarding as well. I mean, Travis Rice aside, and that he's obviously helping push free riding a bit more to the forefront in snowboarding. But with mountainboarding, like I say, everybody does it, but there's not many ways to get recognition for it. And I hope that by inviting you to come on and speak and give your say that you take from this that respect for what you've done and your career in mountainboarding, whatever you want to call it, your life in mountainboarding, that we feel that respect for you, Matt, as well.
Okay.
And I think you do command that in the country. We love your creativity. We love that you're more intelligent than I could ever fucking dream to be. Yeah, you have this great. Whether this comes across in the video tonight, I don't know whether it will, because when we speak to you face to face, you have a joie de vivre that really fucking shines bright, and your brother's got it as well. So it's a testament partially to your upbringing, maybe. It's certainly a testament to your personality and the person who you are, because I
my parents
watching you grow up and become an adult, and now 20 years in the game. It's fantastic, Matt. Thank you.
22 years now. 22
years. We said no lying. I lied there. I got fact checked.
Right.
I don't think that was a lie. I think that was just like
stupidity.
I've been going so long. After 2 decades, it gets. When did I start riding?
But I
think I have to thank my parents, because my parents. That's it. I think that's why my parents are happy. The mountainboarding,
Well, don't break up now.
The free ride snowboarding. Because of my calculated risk of things, they know I'm always processing whether I can ride something, whether I can do something on the free ride.
Yeah.
So they're kind of he's going out and riding this, or on a mountain board in the woods or whatever. He's with people that he's friends with and he knows, and they're kind of everyone looking after each other.
Yeah. There's certainly that kinship amongst mountainboarders and snowboarders, especially the free riders,
Yeah, everyone's got to come home off the mountain. Everyone's got to come home safe.
That's it. Well, look, Matt, unless there's anything more you want to
I
add.
think I need to. Yeah, I need to thank the Team Bad crew, because I think like that kept me. Cause that really got me more and more into it. Like I think I would have still kept doing it in the same way as the snowboarding has been my interest since the 90s, of like first snowboard mag. Okay, I want to go and ride Alaska on a snowboard.
Yeah.
And always been pushing for that on the free ride on the snowboard when I finally started doing it a few years ago. But the mountainboarding, I think the same. Like, yeah, having a crew and having like, I push myself, but I have found that a little out here. Like, it's only a certain amount you can push yourself, but by having the skill set that I've gained from the Team Bad days.
Yeah, definitely put you in good stead.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, if you're out riding LA, Long Ashton and Crooked Mustard and stuff like that. If you're cleaning Crooked Mustard, you're gonna be on a good
hold your own on some on
some bigger stuff. But yeah. Look, thank you
for having me.
I just want to say thank you very much for coming on, because I could sit here all night just listening to stories.
Yeah,
it's fucking great.
Dude, come and see us in the summertime, please.
Yeah, come over.
Come to our wives' birthdays.
I don't know if I'm going to compete. I'm still undecided on whether I'm coming back, whether I've retired from mountainboarding. Downhill maybe, but the border cross, I'm just worried about being hit by someone else and then losing another winter or something.
Well, that's understandable.
I feel like
I believe there will be a downhill, so you'll have to to yourself there. And
I think track to myself, maybe up for like trying that. But I think my progression now is almost pushing the snowboarding further, the splitboarding further and further now. Like my mountainboarding, I keep progressing with, but I think I feel like I wouldn't do another. I don't ever do any more border cross competitions now.
That's fair enough.
Did enough.
Fair enough. We're just glad.
We'll see when you
matter
get
whether
there,
you compete or not. Whether you compete or not, it makes not a jot of difference. The fact that
I bring my board. I think I just
all that matters.
I'll give the track a ride and see how I feel.
Yeah, you might change your mind.
It's only bugs. You'll absolutely
nice wide track.
It'll feel flat compared to everything that you've been riding.
It'll be wide enough to actually turn it.
Yeah, it definitely will be wider than what you used to riding. Dude, let's tie it up then. Thank you very much for coming on.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks a lot, mate.
We'll see you this summer. Ladies and gents, you've been watching The Dirt.
Bye-bye.
Nice one. Cheers, lads.
Cheers, Matt. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.